Good morning and welcome to episode 60 of the Emotion Code Divas. We're just delighted to be doing the show. We educate, inspire, and we always heal and release trapped emotions from a viewer. So I will be working on the viewer today. And this is a super interesting topic for women and men, but we tend to get a lot of women viewers. But if there's any men out there that this whole month is dedicated to a healthy lifestyle. If you want to step up and become a viewer, please let us know. We're happy to work on you. I'm Dana J. Smithers. I'm one of the Emotion Code Divas. Helena and I are both trained by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And this is his old book. His new book is coming out in May with a foreword from Tony Robbins, which will be very, very interesting. I've ordered it. It's not ready to be shipped yet, but you can get that and check it out. There's lots of case studies in here. Dr. Brad tells you how to do the emotion code. There's different, not only are there case studies, but there's ways he shows you to muscle test. So we're actually going to go through that ourselves today. But just to let you know, both Helena and I do have weight release programs. So I've put my URL down at the bottom. I'll talk about it at the end as Helena will do as well. But, one thing we want to say about releasing weight or resistance to exercise or whatever it is for you, if you're somebody that needs to release a lot of weight, like the person I'm working on today, her name is Elaine, she's interested in releasing 70 pounds. So that's a lot of weight to release. There are lots of emotions that are going to be attached to that will definitely want to resist losing that weight. I think many of us have been there. I'm not really one for diets, but I will watch what I'm eating, exercising, and all of that. And I know Helena does the same. But if you're wanting to release a large lot of weight, then you need to have the mindset of doing that over a longer period of time. Because we know, Helena and I know, that if it's something you want to do, you go on a crash diet, whatever it is, you lose the weight in a month, it's guaranteed you're going to gain that back because you haven't changed the mindset. Helena's going to talk about that. You haven't changed the way you think about it, the way you think about your body. You've simply taken a tool, used it, gone, but it's going to creep back in unless you make some significant changes to that subconscious. So that's what Helena is going to be talking about today when she talks about her hypnosis. So that's a bit about me. I'm also certified law of attraction abundance mentor, coach, and I work a lot, as does Helena, with the words that we're saying to ourselves when we're resisting exercise, have a lot of cravings, kind of get cranky and don't know how to deal with those things. So we're going to be talking about that today. So that's a bit about me. Helena, over to you. Diva.
Good morning. I am Helena Jenikin. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. My specialty is helping men and women release excess weight, also overcome fears and phobias, and stop smoking. I am the Stop Smoking Lady, and Dana, we'll be talking about this later at another episode, a special episode about my stop smoking protocol that I have created for emotion code practitioners and body code practitioners so they can help their clients stop smoking. And it uses hypnosis and the emotion code, which is what I do with all my clients that come to see me. There's always an emotion code portion to our hypnosis or hypnotherapy sessions.
So we're going to be doing that as a special episode on March the 12th. So Helena will be putting up some graphics about it and let you know about it, but it's going to be very, very interesting. And it's a fabulous program that Helena has created. But in the meantime, resistance to exercise. It's a biggie. Put your hand up if you've ever had resistance to exercise.
I did.
Exactly. And you know what? It goes in phases for me. The sunnier it gets, the more I'll go out and go for my walk run. But in the winter time, for me, it's usually yoga that I do because I really don't like getting out in the cold unless I'm going for a dog beach walk. But yeah, I have resistance to it. I'm not someone that naturally just wants to get up and go and run and cycle and all of that. It's just not who I am. So yeah, I do have some resistance to exercise, and Helena has definitely helped me with that, and I've worked on Helena to do that. So why don't we just go ahead and, because I know we often get first-time viewers, and we're just going to walk you through the process that you can do yourself or what Helena and I do with people and also viewers on the show. So the first thing that we ask is for
permission.
Exactly.
We always ask for our clients' permission to work with them energetically. Now, we also can work on clients' children, their guardian children and or their animals. But we do also need their permission.
Exactly. And so once we have their permission, as I have Elaine's permission today, I'm going to become her what's called proxy. So what's that all about?
So the proxy is the ability now to tap into her subconscious mind and ask her subconscious mind yes or no questions. It's just like if you can't go to a meeting and you need to vote, you give someone else your proxy to act on your behalf.
Exactly. And so a question that I've asked our viewer today is what we term the severity. So how much resistance to exercise does Elaine have? And at this point, she's told me it's an 8, but how am I going to check that, Helena?
Well, you're going to check that with tapping into her subconscious mind. So you'll be using the next key to the process, which is muscle testing. And muscle testing is a way for our subconscious mind to give us answers. And the way that I muscle test is I link my fingers together. And that will be a yes. That's my subconscious mind saying yes, and that is no.
Yeah, mine's fairly similar, index and thumb together, and then I take my index and middle finger, and that's a yes. And again, as Dr. Brad suggests in his book, you don't need a lot of pressure. That's a yes, that's a no. That's a yes, that's a no. So we can go pretty quickly and get our answers. And what we're actually looking at is what Dr. Brad has put together called the emotion code chart.
Mm-hmm. The emotion code chart holds 60 negative emotions that may be trapped in your physical body. It's been divided into 2 columns and 6 rows. So you'll hear Dana, you may hear Dana today or when you're working with us, we'll be asking, is there a negative trapped emotion we can release in column A or column B? Is it in an odd row or an even row? And then we'll come down to a cell of 5 different emotions, and then we'll ask individually about those emotions. And then we'll find the one or ones, and then ask if we can release them.
Great. And how are we going to release those, Helena? We're going to use
magnets. We are going to use magnets. Now, magnets are pure energy, and what they do is they intensify our intention to release these negative trapped emotions that are in the body, the negative unprocessed emotions that got trapped at some point in your life that are like physical, like size of like energies ball, like the size of this lemon, just sort of stuck in the physical system. So when we call them out and identify them, they pop out of the physical system into the energetic system. So then we can use magnets, exactly, wiping along this way, which is the governing meridian, the main meridian in the energetic body that the ancient Chinese have mapped out, and it wipes it away, cancels it, deletes it, so it doesn't go back into the physical system, and therefore it's gone.
Exactly. And actually, I just really noticed how thirsty I am. So.
Interestingly, I am really thirsty too, and this is that's kind of interesting. I wonder what's going on about that, because that isn't that our throat chakra?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
A little dry right now.
Yeah. So Helena and I have actually done a special episode on chakras, but often with the throat chakra, if there's a bit of phlegm or just what I had there didn't feel like it was flowing. It can just be resistance to saying something that you need to say, or if you are saying something in a very negative way, that throat chakra can get very much out of balance. So water is just plain good for the body anyway.
Right. And actually that's our next key is water. Hydrated practitioner. So the energy flows through our system much faster when our bodies are hydrated, giving us a yes and no answer, a clear yes or no answer. If there's any practitioners watching, when you're working with your clients, you'll find yourself drinking more water. If you ever have any answers coming up that are not crystal clear, just have some water. And Dan, I'm not sure about you, but I know is that my clients also end up drinking a lot of water during the session and afterwards as they're processing.
Yes, absolutely. It's always good. So, Helena, before I jump into working with Elaine, and I'll give you a bit of history there, why don't we say hello to a few people?
So, who do we have today watching with us? Hello, Elaine. How are you? And we have our very loyal fan from the UK, Natasha Paula Samuel. Hello, Natasha. And
She always gives us a weather report, so it's a great cloudy day in Rumford, Essex.
We have a little sunshine here, which is quite welcome. And good morning, Chris. Chris Katina. Help me out, Jana. Katina. Here we go. Yes. Yeah. And we also have a few other viewers watching and joining, so welcome to you as well.
Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on Elaine. And so what she's told me is that she feels the severity is an 8. And so Elaine, her resistance exercise is this. 1, she's paid a membership to the YMCA and she's not going. You might be able to relate to that. That's something a lot of people sign up in January, the fitness clubs, but she's got no motivation. So I'm going to work on that. She says she used to do water aerobics and really love it. So I'll see if we can't release what's ever trapping that. And she said she'd also like to try and do some yoga. So we'll see what's going on there for her. So those are the things I'm going to work on regarding helping her, whatever's trapping her from doing the exercise, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that, Helena. I'll just turn my sound off and you can go ahead and give our education piece today.
Excellent. Good. So today I'd like to talk to you about a couple different points. And the one thing that we were mentioning earlier on is how it is actually quite easy to release a lot of weight very, very easily. Unfortunately, when people tend to do that, it's kind of like a pendulum. They swing this way over this way, and then they swing right back to where they were before. I actually have clients that come into my hypnosis office that have had actual gastric band surgeries, so where they've put the silicone band around their stomach and created a tiny, tiny little pouch, and then they start to release weight, and over time they just gain it all back because they haven't changed the mind. They haven't changed their mindset. And they haven't changed their mindset around a couple of things. One is their self-image, also their belief that they can be a different size and shape, and also it may not be safe for them to be a smaller size and shape due to past history, past trauma, past programming, mental programming, and it might not even be okay for them to be a different size and shape, a thinner size and shape. And so when we work with people, both in the emotion code as well as in hypnosis, we're looking at all of those, the beliefs, ensuring that it's safe and it's okay, clearing up past issues and traumas, and finding the resistance, the blocks. In hypnosis, we use a couple of different techniques. One is age regression to cause. So taking the emotion that the person is feeling about their resistance to exercise, or their current size and shape, or their frustration about their current size and shape, maybe even their frustration about the lack of willpower. We'll go back and we'll take the subconscious mind back in time to the original sensitizing event, is what we call it. And we find out where this all started. The idea, the beliefs that it's maybe not safe or okay to release the weight, or maybe I can't do it, or I can't sustain it, or I do it and I release the weight and it comes back. And so there's these beliefs. So the subconscious mind has all the information. So hypnosis can help with that. Where I find the emotion code really beneficial is allowing people to release certain foods or beverages, such as in Canada here we have Tim Hortons, and they offer lots of wonderful beverages others than just coffee. Hot chocolate, ice caps, cappuccinos, different sort of flavored drinks. McDonald's offers that now, Starbucks offers that. And there's all these different specialty coffees, cold and hot drinks, pop, all that kind of stuff. Just imagine if those particular beverages are your weakness, that are keeping you adding in extra calories into your body. Just imagine if they were gone. What if you had no desire to have them? What if you never thought about them anymore? Just the caloric intake of those sugary beverages gone from your diet can really help on the process of releasing weight. And especially when those foods, maybe there's chips and chocolate bars and nachos and popcorn, all those are removed from your diet easily and effortlessly without any cravings or feeling of deprivation, it would be natural that your body would start to release the weight. Now, what we'd like to work on is the belief system around believing that you can remain at this lower new weight. The other component, of course, is moving your body more than you are doing now. And so removing the trapped emotions around the resistance to exercise and or moving your body. Now, I'd like to recognize that when I'm in my house and I'm having a cleaning spree day and I'm vacuuming and I'm dusting and I'm running up and down the stairs and doing different laundries and folding and maybe doing all the bed sheets and all this kind of stuff, I'm moving my body than I am more than on a regular basis. I like to count that as exercise. I get there into the shower, the bathtub, and I really start scrubbing and moving my body and stretching. It's exercise in my mind. And any time that I'm moving my body more than I do on a daily basis, I'm just making notes that I'm moving my body and I consider that exercise. Now, it is wonderful to create a routine. Routines are, once they're a routine, they become a habit. And it's one of those things that you just don't have to think about and you just go do. So the other thing that we could work on on the emotion code side is imagine if you had all the exercise equipment in your house. Maybe there's a treadmill, maybe there's a Nordic track, maybe you've got some free weights, maybe you've got a bike, a stationary bike, maybe you've got DVDs or VCR with different exercise programs, so you don't even have to leave the home. And yet there's a resistance to using that equipment easily and gently. That's where I find the emotion code to be really beneficial. Now, with the hypnosis side, we are also able to tap into the different parts. We all have different parts of ourselves. We have our motivating part and we have our non-motivating part. And there's the saboteur part and the other part that really wants to get things going. So with hypnosis, I actually have a conversation with those different parts of the subconscious mind and find out when that maybe negative behavior part came into being, and then we do some negotiation and have it change its job so it can remind you to do the exercise or want to do the exercise. And so now more parts, all parts of your physical system and your mind are on board to get you what you want. Even when we're doing the emotion code and we're asking questions, our subconscious mind can hear those questions. And the parts of our subconscious mind can hear those questions and changes actually happen there. So for my tip today, for you, if you're wanting to release weight, if you're wanting to exercise, if you're wanting to eat differently, and you want to begin with your mind, this is my favorite tip to give people. With our viewer today, she's wanting to release 70 pounds. And I just did a quick calculation on my notes here. And if you imagine the 70 pounds over a period of 10 months, that would be 7 pounds a month. Easily, gently releasing 7 pounds a month. That's less than 2 pounds a week. Now, for some people, that's a lot. And for other people, simply by cutting out the sugary beverages, and the pops and the cookies and the chips, you'll get that. Now imagine adding in some movement and exercise. Now it's really doable. Adding in more water, really great too. But I like to give my clients this particular statement. I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner, lighter and lighter. I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner, lighter and lighter. I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner and lighter and lighter. And for some other people, they like to add in a third element. I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner, lighter and lighter, and healthier and healthier. Now, my suggestion is that you write that down on a little sticky and place it in a couple of different places. And as long as it feels good when you say that, and then you recognize that it is a process and you're moving closer and closer and closer to your ideal body size and shape, it becomes easier and easier to achieve the thing that you say that you want, which is a new body size and shape. And so I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner and lighter and healthier and healthier. Now the ideal time to put this down into your subconscious mind so it becomes automatic, an automatic thought as you're walking through the grocery store, as you're going into a restaurant and looking at a menu, is saying this as you're falling asleep at night. Last thoughts that you have as you're falling asleep at night is what's going down, deep, deep into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind will work on that particular thought. And after a period of time, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks, it will become an automatic thought. And then when you also add that statement, I'm in the process of becoming thinner and thinner and lighter and healthier, as your first thought as you're waking up in the morning, when you're still in that trance-like state, as you emerge from sleep, it'll go deep, deep, deep down into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is your automatic part of your mind. And your automatic part of your mind is the part of your mind that we want to have our changes and beliefs in. So I'd be interested to know who out there is going to write that down on a little Post-it note or a little sticker or a little piece of paper and put that in a couple different places and start saying that as you're falling asleep at night and wake you up in the morning. I'll type it into the comments after the show is finished. And that concludes the educational portion of our session today, and looks like Dana is ready to share with us what she found and what she was able to release for our viewer today to eliminate their resistance to exercise.
Thanks, Helena. Yeah, it was quite interesting. So Helena and I just want you to know that while these are short sessions that we're doing, 10 minutes, we do some preparation before the show as well so that we're connected and can just jump right into doing the session. But we are definitely releasing trapped emotions, but when it comes to weight and a lot of that heavy energy that you're carrying with you, a quick session like this is really good, right? It releases some of these emotions. But Helena and I both believe very much in the weight release programs that we have, because we know that there's a lot more going on if you're somebody that also is not only resisting exercise but continuing to gain weight. Certainly with women, I don't know if you found this, Helena, but when I hit menopause, for me it was kind of around 50. I'd always been able to manage my weight. I've always been 5'2", can't change that. But I've always been between 110 and 115 pounds, except for when I was 100. But 110, 115. But I did notice that around menopause and just going through that my weight would fluctuate more, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go with it if I feel like eating something. But it's when you start to become mindful of it and you don't like that take over your life, right? It's something that you're going through, but there are ways to manage it. And certainly I believe if I'd known about emotion code way back then,
yep,
I would not have. I had a pretty easy menopause, going through things, but and I know, Helena, the same with you, because it wasn't too long ago that you started doing the emotion code, and it just helped you get through it as well.
Actually, I started, my metabolism changed, and I think it was like perimenopause around the age of 42 or 43.
Okay.
It seemed to be early, and it I believe it came on because of the adrenals, and I've learned a lot about the adrenals, and my go 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 kind of lifestyle had really caught up with me, and I put on 40 pounds very quickly.
Whoa.
Yep, 40 pounds
Wow.
really quickly, and there was a combination of changing jobs,
Yeah.
adding in a new
Stress.
relationship. Yep. So I was sitting for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours sometimes, whereas I had always been very active, had always very active jobs. Started a new relationship, so home for dinner, making lots of lovely dinners, and let's have a little beverage with dinner. And then the combination of then exhaustion, not wanting to exercise, and it was just all this accumulative stuff. And then I got to this place where I was so tired and sluggish that I wasn't exercising. And it was through hypnosis actually that I got introduced to hypnosis. It helped me get motivated, and then I learned hypnosis. But Yeah, it's quite interesting. Now, I just want to share one thing about how important it is to work with the belief system. Is that you were mentioning that you're only 5'2". I'm 5'9", and you were about 110 to 115 pounds. Do you know, Dano, back in my mid-20s, I was 5'9".
Exactly.
I was about 115, 120 pounds, and I thought I was heavy.
Yeah.
My mind said I was heavy. And I look back now at those pictures and I realize that I always believed I had 5 pounds to lose, 5 pounds to lose. And so I just actually got to a point later on, maybe my 30s, where I realized my self-image was not equal to what I was seeing in the mirror. And I actually stopped weighing myself and just put on clothes. And if the clothes felt good, I knew I was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to look at it because, people that I work with as well, I just say when I do the weight release program, I'm just interested in you feeling better about your body and yourself. I'm not that concerned about how much weight
No.
in terms of pounds you actually lose, but your lifestyle, your mindset, what are you saying to yourself?
Yeah.
So good tips there, Helena. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into what came up for Elaine. So Elaine, if any of this resonates with you, there's a few things I was quite curious about, but since I'm not talking with you, so I just noticed Chris Coutinho says that was her in her 20s as well. Yeah, in my 20s, I weighed 100 pounds. I was 5'2", and I thought I was overweight.
Yeah.
And, my girlfriends would say, well, no, actually not. But it's how we look at ourselves, right? And so, yeah, I just finally had that mindset of, I think it's okay to eat a bit more. And plus, absolutely, when we're younger, we're way more active. And our metabolism is different and all of that. So it's finding a weight that feels good. Anyway, let me jump into Elaine. So Elaine said that she felt her severity was an 8, a resistance to exercise. I tapped into a 10 for her. So the first one I did is releasing emotions around not going to the Y. She's paid the money, all of that. So again, there's only, limited amount of things that we can do in this time period, but very, very important. So the first thing that came up was shame. Then overjoy. And overjoy seems like, well, shouldn't that be a happy time? The happy emotion was probably that Elaine joined the gym. She made the decision. She's doing it. And then what happens with that, how it becomes a negative emotion, it's like, oh, but I didn't go. Oh, I missed that. Oh, I don't feel like going today. So all of a sudden that overjoy of being, I did it, I signed up, I'm doing it, here's my dates, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. That's the joyful part, but then the overjoy or the overkill almost comes in when you don't do it. So all of a sudden you've got so many choices. Oh, I can't do that. I have to do this. I've got disappointment. Oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, it's snowing out. Oh, it's raining out. Oh, it's too sunny today. Whatever, right? So that's what overjoy is. So we release that. And then, ones that are kind of typical with this, feeling worthless, feeling some despair, having low self-esteem, feeling a little bit depressed about the whole situation and why am I not going? And this is where the mindset, what Helena's saying, what's so important, what you believe and say to yourself. If yeah, I mean, do what you can do, but be mindful of what you're saying to yourself about it. So that was some release on the not going to the why. The next one I did was the water aerobics. So there were more psychic traumas, Elaine, that were connected with this. So heartache and resentment, guilt and hatred, and humiliation and jealousy. So that was something about water aerobics. I know you said you used to go, but you're not. So those are some of the emotions I released around that. Because if you find an exercise that you love, go for it, right? Go for it. It doesn't matter how aerobic it is or not. I love to go for walks at the dog beach. A good half-hour walk. I feel that I'm doing something. I'm out with the trees, we're exchanging oxygen, carbon dioxide, all that good stuff, right? Whatever makes you feel good. And then the third one I did is release some emotions around liking to do yoga. So yoga is actually my go-to exercise. I do it, although I definitely have time periods where I don't do it, but I just do my yoga at home. I have about 6 different videos that I watch that I like to do. If you need to be in a space where you're more motivated by going to a yoga session, then do that, right? If you need to be around people to help you. I don't need that. I'm very disciplined that way, so I'm good at that. But yoga is a good one just for stretching and moving the energy in your body as well, and limbering up, and so it's good for so many things. So what came up for that? The first one was abandonment, some issues around that, and then the trapped emotion of humiliation came up, and I was asked to find out more. So something happened according to what came up, and you can let me know, Elaine, around 51, 52. And this was some kind of humiliation, and it seemed to be around a family member. So I don't know what that was about. And the next emotion that I released was the trapped emotion of dread. And I was prompted to ask more questions, and it came up about 50, 51 as well. So you might want to think back to what happened. You don't have to go into your story about that, but Dr. Brad says if we get an age, it can be a year behind or a year ahead. So somewhere, I'd say 49 to 53 almost. So somewhere in those years, some family humiliation, some dread about something about doing some kind of exercise, and probably also just about your body image, your self-image came up as well. So just due to the time period, that's what came up and what I released for you there. So let me know, Elaine, if any of those things come up. And Helena, why don't you just talk a little bit about the processing? What happens after we do a session?
So after our sessions, our emotion code sessions with our clients, they may feel actually lighter and more energetic, happier. And sometimes you have the other opposite. Sometimes there's some tears that are shed, some upset, or maybe even frustration. So we like to suggest to people that they find some time during the day to just have some alone time, maybe out in nature, or to take a Epsom salt foot bath or an Epsom salt bath, just to draw out those emotions and allow them to process out of your system. It's very short. It's a short amount of time. So yeah, it's processing. Some people find it more intense than others, but it is always short.
Yeah, exactly. And some people say, they might get a headache or something, but I just say, just go with it, sit with it. It'll be gone. But remember, Helena showed you that lemon, right? So that's what Dr. Brad says. They can be the size of a lemon or up to a cantaloupe. So if these are in your body and they're processing and being released, yeah, sometimes you do get a headache, from that.
Drink some water if you get a headache. That'll
Yeah, I've
help.
just about finished all of mine. So,
Yeah,
sorry.
me too. Very
Yeah,
thirsty.
exactly. So actually, that session went down from a 10 to a 0 for that limited time period that I worked on you, Elaine. So again, if you want to carry on further or do some more work, we can do that. But let us know if those ages meant anything to you or just how you're feeling in general. So that is it for today. And so the whole month we are working on a healthy lifestyle, helping you create a healthy lifestyle. So next week, we're looking for a viewer. We're going to be talking about releasing weight this time. So if you're interested in having a session with us, we will do that with you. And probably I'll do a little bit on law of attraction around that. And Helena, you can work on our viewer if that works for you. Yeah, Helena and I like to, switch back and forth. It's not that, I would say definitely Helena is the stop smoking lady. That's not an area that I even work in, but that's her expertise. And also, she's got some fabulous weight release programs. I know she had a group come in, so she does that in her office. I do weight release differently. I use law of attraction. I also work with chakras, but we each have areas that we gravitate a little bit more to. And I think you'll find that, maybe you're an emotion or studying to be an emotion code practitioner. So just know that you're going to find your niche. You're going to find a place that really resonates with you and that you're very comfortable with. Also for me, I love working with animals. So that's just something that I love to do. And that sort of emerged organically as I got into doing emotion code and then some Reiki as well. So Helena, how can people find you?
People can find me at my hypnosis webpage, which is flourishhypnosis.com. And then you can do / emotion code or / weight release. Under the services tab, you'll find all the things that I offer.
Right. And your YouTube channel?
I do. I have a YouTube channel. I've got two, one under my name, Helena Jenikin, also under Flourish Hypnosis. I've got a very active business Facebook page where it's Flourish Hypnosis. And that's where you can find a lot of my recommendations and my reviews from my past clients. So if you're interested to find out on different things that I've helped people with, that's a great place to see real live testimonials.
Excellent. Thank you. And Helena, do you know Teresa Percival?
I do. Hello, Teresa. I wanted to say
hello.
Yes, Teresa is an amazing hypnotherapist, and she taught me an amazing technique with rapid eye movement and eye movements to create change in people's state. I saw her do a demonstration at a conference where she was able to take someone's grief down from a 10 down to, in I would say about within 10 minutes, that they couldn't even find it anymore.
Wow.
So there are lots of wonderful
techniques. Yeah.
Yeah, there's techniques out there, so people don't need to suffer. There's no need to suffer.
Yeah,
Go find someone.
Yeah, reach out, find the right, person for you and also the right healing modality, because there's so much available now that I know when I was younger was definitely not available. Or if it was in very small amount, and it wasn't very visible for us. And that's part of the reason why Helena and I do this show as well. So, Elaine has just made a comment. You're welcome. And she can't think of anything that happened around that age. It's not really that important that you do remember, but something may just pop into your mind. And so that's our show for today. You can find me at Empowered Women in Business. I work a lot with women entrepreneurs that are stuck in their life. And as I say, I also love working with animals. So that's it for now. So next week, please join us. We were looking for a viewer who wants to release some weight.